Hi. Hello. I'm putting my peaceful meditations playlist on right now. So give me one moment, please. So today is interesting. It's the last day of September. We're about to come into October. And I don't know what I'm doing today, honestly. I just felt like coming live. I got a little bit of energy to burn. And so I decided, why not? I was going to go live on my other channel, but I was like, I'll do it over here. I went to get some blackberry merlot, and then I saw a cherry red moscato. I know it's like 2 o'clock almost. It's 1:55 p.m. where I am, but I'm not the type of person that waits until a certain time to start drinking. Also, I'm not an alcoholic, but still, it's like if I want to drink, I'm gonna drink. I got my frosted animal cookie snacks, and also I got snowberry because snowberry fell off of the top of the bin. Maybe I'll go through some stuff in there. I'll probably I plan on using like the SKT. Maybe doing some stuff that I don't typically too much do over here. Go a little bit deeper or whatever. Maybe not. We'll see. Because last time I tried to go deep, nothing came out. It was like, oh, you already have everything that you need. Just start doing it. And I was like, oh, interesting. But I am going to start with the Disology cards. And then I'll decide what deck I want to pull from there. To clarify, I'm low key loving the Mars retrograde because I'm doing a lot of stuff right now. But as I do everything that I need to do, it's like everything else is out of my hands. So, like, it's not all happening at once, thankfully. So, like, I did this one thing and I'm waiting for somebody else to like set up the appointment. I'm waiting for somebody else to get back to me. I'm waiting for this approval. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting to hear back from this, and like everything is it's gonna come in. There's something I've been waiting a few weeks for, but again, it's like I'd rather not be the limiting step because then it'll all come in when it needs to come in, and there are other things that I need to be doing. So it allows me to breathe a little bit, which is really nice. I wasn't planning on getting through this whole bottle, but I might. I mean, since I have this here, I talked about it. This is this little blue bin that I have. I don't think anything is necessarily in here, but let's go through it. I'm the type of person where like I have paper everywhere. Like sometimes pieces of colored construction paper. I used to be super, super into origami, and I still kind of am. Speaking of origami, like, excuse me, here's two origami books, and I actually have like another origami book that's in a huge origami kit that I got from my Latin teacher in high school. I got like three more origami books that I bought a few years ago because when I was in RA, the first semester we had to have weekly traditions, and mine was origami night. And there was this one dude on my floor who I would never recognize, no matter. And I think he lived right next door to me. He did. He lived literally in the room right next to mine. And it took me a long time to be like, oh yeah, like you're actually on my floor. And so I had origami night one night, and he showed up. And see, initially I was gonna be like, oh, I have this room reserved for my floor, but I didn't say that, and I'm glad I didn't say that because he lived literally right next door to me. So that was cool. And then the second semester we did Jackbox games, which was interesting, but still all right. What's this? Oh my gosh, I forgot all about this. I got like this World of Warcraft handbook. Remember when Brady Games used to release like books? I was like super into World of Warcraft. I got into it like freshman year of high school. I was addicted to it for a few times. And it's like we only had one computer. And so I really enjoyed the game. And then I told my brother, I was like, you should try World of Warcraft. It's so fun. I wasn't thinking ahead because then he enjoyed it. And that one computer wasn't my computer. So we had to share it. And I'm like, now we both want to play the game. But then I got a laptop not too long after that. And it actually, so that was like, when did I start high school? 2007? 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11. No. Yeah. 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11. Yeah. 2007. I started high school. And I started to play World of Warcraft in like 2007, right? It wasn't until like 2014 when I got a computer that could actually run the game on like not the lowest settings. And I got this gaming computer, like a desktop. And then I got this gaming laptop. And now I don't even, like, I didn't even really game on it. Oh, I kind of want to pull out some old essays that I wrote. There was one I wrote about basically coming out. Here's the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Darkness Guide. I don't know what I'm doing today. It just is what it is. Here's my favorite book, Bud Not Buddy. I loosely remember what this book is about. I feel like I should read it again. It's interesting because the cover art reminds me of one of my cousins. A little bit low key. This is one of my favorite books. And that shows you, like, I don't even know what the copyright date for that is. But I don't really read too frequently. What is this doing in here? Oh, so I was like, I wanted to learn Japanese for a minute. I can't even read this. Something chan no. That's probably aka chan no. So that's a baby, yeah. And then there's a baby. Aka chan no something something kake rupo. What is a rupo? I wanted to learn Japanese for a minute. I took Purdue Daigaku de Nihongo no Juvyo ga 3年ぐらい取りました。But when I was in high school, for somehow this like Japanese baby magazine ended up coming down the line where my grandma works, and so she gave it to me. I forgot all about this because I saw this and I'm like, wait, I know I don't have any of my Japanese books in here. I really want to pick the language back up. And I already talked about that, but I don't know. I feel like things. Oh, this must be one of them freaking. Oh, I can't read any of this. But this is like what, journal reports or something like that. Oh, ain't nothing interesting in there. I got all these little steno books. If you would see my notebooks from literally any class, it would be so sad. Because it's like I got notes on the first 3 pages, and then the rest of the notebook is blank. Like, honestly, I learn better by just like paying attention. And if I have to like try to write stuff, then I forget and I'm like I miss out on things. Looking for SP Intel MP5. What? Paste. Oh, what is this? This is like some math and stuff. I'm like, hold up. This is, I ain't even used this thing. Whatever that was for. I got like all these little composition books in here. Here's another composition book. I thought my art books were in here. Oh, they're not. What? I found some Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Oh snap! Who we got? We got the Man Eater Bug. This like traditional Yu-Gi-Oh, like first season. Oh, we got a holographic Dark Magician. Let's go. I really thought my art books were in here. DNA surgery. DNA surgery is interesting. Let's read this one. Oh, this is so tiny. When you activate this card, declare one type of monster. As long as this card remains face up on the field, all face up monsters become the type you declared. Oh. I actually had a dream about DNA surgery a few months ago. It was very interesting. Basically, long story short, it was a dream about somebody who could rewrite DNA. I was like, oh, well, if you can rewrite DNA, then there's some issues that you could probably fix out there right now. Blast with Chain. That's an old one. Man Eater Bug, already read that one. Card Destruction. Ooh, this one's also holographic. Kinda. Yeah, you can kind of see it. And then the last one is who this? Snipe Hunter. Discard one card from your hand. Select one card on the field and roll a six-sided die. If the result is not one or six, destroy the selected card. So it's interesting that I have like DNA surgery, and then I have a few cards actually that would be able to destroy it. So I don't know. Oh, here's some more cards. Well, then this is a whole bunch of cards. It ain't a whole deck. Oh crap! This might be a whole deck. How do I have a whole deck of Yu-Gi-Oh cards in here? Now, obviously, we're not gonna go through all of these. So we're gonna do some Yu-Gi-Oh card reading. Why not? Because they came out. Staunch Defender, I remember that. Seven Tools of the Bandit, that's interesting. Monster Reborn, of course. Ooh, another holographic one. Holographic. Holographic. Oh, now it's on the floor. Red Medicine. I got a whole deck down here. Just Desserts. Oh, I remember Just Desserts. That's a little bit of a karmic energy. It's the things that we deserve. And that's one of the sad things about karma. Or that's one of the sad things about being hurt, I guess. It is the fact that hurt people, but we're responsible for the hurt that we cause on other people, even if it's in retaliation to what someone else has done to us. Right? It's that whole like don't get mad, get even mentality. Literally, first page of this is blank. This whole thing is blank. This whole thing is blank. Maybe I'll use these for something. I don't know. These composition books. Why do I have so many? I think I got all of them at the same time. Here's my POE. POE was Principles of Engineering. I took that freshman year of high school in the Project Lead the Way course. And it looks like all the pages I already cut out or I already ripped out all the pages that I used. So now this one is blank. Um, but Project Lead the Way was this program that started in high school that was designed to give anyone who would seek like an engineering whatever some exposure into the field, right? And some different things that you can take in high school that would prepare you for that. And it was actually my introduction to engineering design, my IED professor, intro to engineering design professor, who suggested that I apply for Purdue. And I had literally never heard of Purdue before he told me that I should apply for it. And then junior year, I took the SATs. I took both the SAT and the ACT because my mom is extra like that. I literally went to visit my aunt in North Carolina And she was like, "While you're here, you're gonna take the SAT because I think we did the ACT." And I said, "Wait, I'm on vacation. You got me taking the SAT." So I took both of them, even though you only need one. Um, and yeah, it's so when I took it, like you get to mark 3 schools for free that you send your scores to. So I was like, I only had like one school. I really thought that I was going to go to the University of Illinois. That's the school I really had my eyes set on for a while. But I was like, I might as well send it to Purdue. And then I ended up touring Purdue and I loved it. So I am very grateful to that professor who recommended that I um, check out Purdue because literally without him, I never would have heard of it and I never would have went there. And it's just so interesting how one person, one interaction can really shape our lives like that, right? And I guess I didn't have to necessarily go through with it, but I love Purdue so much I toured it 3 times. I was sure that I was going to go there after the first time. And my mom also loved it. So we also went to the University of Chicago. I loved the University of Chicago. She didn't like it. We toured the University of Illinois, but that one was like, it was what it was. I had already pretty much decided I was going to go there. But we both loved Purdue. And something about Purdue just felt like the right place for me to spend the next chapter of my life. It just felt right. Um, and when I first got there, it was not great because I wasn't socializing at all. But like I talked about Blue Eyed Gemini Man, maybe that was on the other channel. I don't remember. But I talked about Blue Eyed Gemini Man and some other people that helped me feel a sort of space of belonging. That was on the other channel because that's when I was pulling the Magical Dimensions, Oracle cards, and activators, and Limitless came out. So we just got 2 cards. We have the Nine of Spades, a swaying tower that is moments from toppling, clouded vision and burning lens, a powder keg. And it's in the shape of a 2, more or less. And it's a 9. 2 plus 9 is 11. And then the other card that came out is the Ace of Hearts. On the energy that we send out is the energy that we receive. The future is born in the heart. These feel like 2 very different energies. Where's my phone so we can see one normal? I know I was live for like 4 hours last night. I might end up doing the same today. Honestly, I had a feeling it would be that, and it was that. Oh well. So let's look up the Lenormand correspondences. Excuse me. I'm so ready for the future. The future. I went to Taco Bell last night trying to win an Xbox Series X and I didn't win. And part of me kind of sort of low key is like, oh, I should try again. Another part of me is just like, maybe not. But also, like, all you got to do is get a medium or a large drink. And I didn't even know about it until I saw somebody on Twitter who had won. Um, the Ace of Hearts is the man. Masculine individual in the querent's life. The querent, masculinity, neutral, and immediately. The Nine of Spades, I believe it was. Yep. Nine of Spades is too far. The Nine of Spades is the anchor. Stability, restraint, security, resilience, durability, laying foundations, neutral, and a long time. So, in the space of the anchor, we have a swaying towers that is moments from toppling, clouded vision and burning lands, and a powder keg. That's really heavy energy because the anchor is something that provides stability. The anchor is something that grounds something, but it's like it is what it is, right? Because, like I was saying, and now we're going to clarify this with some Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Maybe I'll just pull one. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it works. Okay. I hope this doesn't work low key because I'm not trying to go out and start buying Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I already bought Pokemon cards because I saw somebody on YouTube looking for shiny Pokemon cards. Um, Maybe Pokemon would work better for me though, honestly, because I know a little bit more about Pokemon than I do Yu-Gi-Oh. So, clarify this Nine of Spades for me, please. Oh, there was another card that fell on the floor. This is interesting because I saw that dude when I was shuffling. But that's what I was saying a long time ago, maybe March, when I was like, there's this fog coming in that's going to disrupt things. But the purpose of the fog, it's like if the world is holographic and everything is an illusion, holograms are sort of projections of light that overlay on top of other things or that just stand alone. And so to disrupt the projection, you have to disrupt the light, and that's what the fog came in to do. But the fog disrupted light indiscriminately. But what it did, and I said that, like, those who navigate out of the fog before the fog, those who navigate out of the fog before the fog lifts will come into some sort of mastery, right? And then eventually it was like those who sort of come into the truth and authenticity of themselves will start to radiate this light outward that can dispel and disrupt the fog around them. And so it gives them a little bit of clarity, even if they can't see all the way into the distance. It's being assured of one's own footsteps and one's own path. And then it might attract, some other people. Maybe, maybe not. Also, on a complete side note, I've been really, really into black beans lately and also rice. And I got some soup last night. And I'm excited because I wanted some potato soup, but all they had was cream of potato. So I'm gonna put some rice in the cream of potato soup, and it's gonna be amazing. Also bagels. I've been really loving the everything bagels. And one thing that I really didn't like before was that, like, whenever I went somewhere, like, all I ate was meat and cheese. And so, like, if I go get a burger, it's like no lettuce, no tomato, no onion, no this, no that, no whatever. But I've started to eat a lot of different things. And so I don't have to do that anymore. I ate a taco last night that had lettuce on it. And I've been eating. Actually, lettuce is one of the things that I'm still not too huge of a fan of. But I got like a chicken teriyaki sub last week with the onions and the mushrooms on it. And I've been able to taste, since I eat less sugar and I drink less sugar now, I've been able to taste the sweetness in things like carrots and onions. And the first time I tasted the sweetness in a carrot, I was so confused. I was like, is there something wrong with this carrot? I went to Snapchat and I uploaded to my story. I was like, are carrots sweet? Can somebody who eats vegetables tell me? And one of my friends were like, yeah, carrots are sweet. And I was like, what? Are you serious? And so there is something about I feel like it's interesting because as I worked through all of my mental stuff, now default, right? Because this isn't the space I was living in, and I have more stuff than this space can accommodate for. But as I was healing myself and working through all of the things that were holding me back mentally, I noticed that my space was getting decluttered. And as I started to grow a little bit more spiritually and get in touch and in tune with my spirituality, really, and honestly, as I started to get a little bit more intentional with it, I noticed that like I was starting to lose weight. I was just naturally drinking more water. I was enjoying going outside more and I wanted to be a little bit more active. I started like not hating vegetables. So I started eating more vegetables and I got to like I expanded my palate and like that's why sometimes I say that like the body has a consciousness of its own. And it's not that we necessarily neglect the body, but our hearts, our minds, and our spirits also are deserving of attention. And, it says that your body, the Bible, and some other things will say that your body is your temple, but it's more than just your body. It's also your heart, it's also your mind, it's also your spirit. And if the divine can't dwell in your heart, if the divine can't dwell in your mind, it doesn't matter how fit you are and how clean you eat because the divine is not moving into a vessel with a effed up heart or a effed up mind. It can't live there. I don't remember where I was going with that. I just thought it was interesting to note that, like, as everything else in my life cleared up, then like my body started to, and my tastes started to change, and my desires started to align with things that are more, associated with taking care of oneself. So, yeah. Also, I probably shouldn't have worn this shirt. This shirt catches under boob and shows nipple like no other. It really does. I remember doing the singing bowl video, and I'm like, I don't know, it just like clings to it. So the card that came out to clarify the Nine of Swords is the Elemental Warrior, Elemental Hero Wildheart. This is a warrior. Effect is this card is unaffected by the effects of trap cards. That's interesting. He's the element of earth, elemental hero Wildheart. Is coming to clarify the nine of spades. A warrior that is unaffected by trap cards. That gives me the energy of like, because I feel like when it comes to some types of spiritual warfare and psychic attacks and things like that, and like what I was saying the other night, it's like if you bring your shadow in from out in the cold, and if you have a healthy relationship with your shadow, then there's almost nothing for that energy to latch onto, right? If your shadow is in the house with your light, and if your shadow is a part of the conversation, then it's like it's a space that things can't enter. Your light protects your shadow, and your shadow protects your light. It's like it resolves the two into a candle or a torch where the shadow is just naturally a part of it. And so elemental hero Wildheart isn't affected by traps. And so here we have this powder keg, we have this swaying tower, we have this blindness and confusion. But with elemental hero Wildheart, it's like even when we're in the fog, even when we can't see what lies in front of us, we're not going to be navigated into something that doesn't serve us. We're not going to be taken advantage of because we're not potentially. If it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But it's like we can be sure of our step. I do want to get one more card on this. Can I get one more Yu-Gi-Oh card, please? This is so ridiculous, but I do so. And then at the bottom of the deck is another trap card, attack and receive. So I'm surprised I'm able to read these because this text is real small for me. I wish I had a magnifying glass. Attack and receive. Yeah, where's my phone? We blowing this up because I can't. Who's this? Oh. I typically like retrograde seasons though, Loki. Just throwing that out there. Because I was just reminded of like that's why I gotta check my emails and stuff now. Because I'm waiting on other people to kind of sort of do some things. And I've also found myself a lot more proactive here lately. Usually I do just kind of sort of sit on opportunities, but I'm like, no, we trying to move. Ain't got time for that. We ain't got time to sit and watch stuff go by. So, ooh, this is not a great picture. I did not focus. We're just gonna do our best. Yeah, the alcohol probably isn't helping me read this. So we're just gonna go off of that. We have attack and receive. And attack and receive, it just reminds me of what I was saying earlier about how it kind of sort of in some ways doesn't matter what's happened to us because as soon as we retaliate, especially it's like if we get hit or attacked at A and we're sitting at B and then there's a C and the C could be a child. When we take out our frustration with A out on C, that's creating things for us to then go back and work through. Right? But Elemental Hero Wildheart is immune to trap cards. So it and I was thinking about it before I went live. He's that person that is neither predator nor prey. And I don't like there are so many times that things just randomly pop into my mind and I don't know why. But I was thinking about when that Four of Swords came out, and I was like, this is someone who is neither predator nor prey. And then it was like, well, everyone's either like you're either a predator or you're the prey. And it's like, if that's a mentality that you subscribe to, then sure. But that's a game that we don't have to play. It's a game that I don't play. Like, and whenever it comes to something that I don't want to do, I just don't do it. I'm just like, peace. I'm out. This ain't for me. But the trap card that came out is ready for intercepting. Ready for intercepting with attack and receive at the bottom of the deck. This is an energy of protection. I mean, he's already immune to traps. So I feel like he doesn't necessarily have to worry about this ready for intercepting type of energy. But again, it's like instead of the shadow, that there is karmically less for some other energy to latch onto to try to pull you down, then it's going to be less effective. I feel like 9 times out of 10, it plays on an insecurity, it plays on an infraction, it plays on a weakness. But if we're self assured and self fortified, then it's like, what do you have? You're going to throw rocks at the wall? Like, okay. Let's see if I can read this one. This one isn't as long. Flip one face up warrior or spellcaster type monster on the field into face down defense position. And I'm pretty sure he's also a warrior type. Yeah, he's a warrior type. So there's something here. There's something here. I think this is actually happening, and I'm not too surprised because it's like I said, it's how my brain works. My brain works in metaphor, so I can kind of sort of find anything for anything. But we have a warrior type who's resistant to all trap cards with a trap card that came out and another trap card at the bottom of the deck. And then we have a trap card that only targets warriors and spellcaster type monsters. And we just so happen to have a warrior card here. But so this card, I guess with the warrior card, no, because he has more defense than he has attack. He has a healthy amount of attack and defense. 1,500 attack points, 1,600 defense points. And he's a 4-star monster, so maybe that's why. Um, but there is this energy of like not backing down. Because this card would put him face down in defense mode, right? And let's say you have a warrior type monster on the opposite side that's really, really strong, or a spellcaster type monster that's really strong. You can use this card basically to negate their attack and to put them on the defensive. But with this energy being resistant to that, he's not going on the defensive. He doesn't have to be forced by his environment to change his position and to change his stance. He can stand his ground, even when the tower is swaying. He may be the reason why this tower is swaying. I know the Luminous Warrior has been coming out a lot, and I know what the significance of the Luminous Warrior is. It's so interesting when different readers read the same deck, by the way. let me let me stop. That's the Leo trying to wake up in my chart. I was gonna be like, who else is out here reading Yu-Gi-Oh cards? Get on my level. That is not me. Anyway. And it is again like without falling into any traps, we can stand our ground and we can make steady progression. We cannot be swayed. So now let's clarify. Let's read this one more time. So Ace of Hearts, which was the man, I believe it was the man. I'm pretty sure it was the man. The energy that we send out is the energy that we receive. The future is born in the heart. So clarify this. Thank you. We got a spell card. Bottom of the deck is a card face down. Invigoration. Oh my gosh. Invigoration with the man, the Ace of Hearts. I love that. Under Invigoration was Yami, which is darkness, I'm pretty sure. But this is interesting because was it the Legacy? Was it? No, it was the other channel. It was the new channel. What's this? Dancing Fairy. I love this. Because the Nine of Hearts, a blip of light at the heart of a black hole, progenitors in a primordial pool, kept popping out. And then here we have Yami and Invigoration. We have the space of darkness, and then we have this light that is coming out of it. Also, I guess it's worth noting that spell cards are the only ones that came out here. Because another spell card is this what? Swords of Revealing Light? Oh no, this is Insect Barrier. So we have Insect Barrier over here. This is a lot of protection. Because on one side we have basically us standing in our power, fully united and resolved and resolute in what we're going forward with, unfazed, undistracted by traps that may come up. And I've been seeing a lot of messages that are like traps, perils, pitfalls, take caution. Perils have come up, take caution has come up, but was like, be assured in yourself. And even though there are these sort of obstacles that sort of lie about, there is a path through them that will get you where you want relatively unscathed. But it's like you can be this energy that's immune to traps, but if you buy into it anyway, then that's like, you know what I mean? It's just like you didn't even have to worry about that. Like, why are you like, what is this all about? But we do have all of these spell cards over here. The energy that we send out is the energy that we receive. That's interesting when we have a lot of spell cards here. Because, and again, pardon my ignorance. Um, but when I think of spell work, it seems like something to bypass or short circuit something else. And so we don't actually put as much energy and effort into it as we could on our own. And there's nothing wrong inherently with seeking those routes. But if the energy that we put in is the energy that we get out, but we're putting in not that much energy expecting for something else to basically overcompensate or to make up for what we're not putting into it, then okay. Then it's like what can we really get back out of it? And with the card of like the future is born in the heart, like it reminds me of when Sagittarius came out and that Empress came out, but the Ten of Swords came out. It's like if you're creating something, but there's no love in it, then what does it have to sustain itself? It's basically going to starve and wither and die. But also, we do have, again, Yami with invigoration and the dancing fairies behind this darkness. So it's not that like seeking out support is wrong, but I do feel like, it's time to sort of step up a little bit. If you want to come into more of your power and be a little less dependent, I guess, then it's time to step up and it's time to take your lessons head on and to not necessarily go in defense mode face down. Like not only is this in defense, it's also face down. And again, like if we have to have these hermit modes where we retreat, that's fine. But it's almost like, come through, son. Yes. It's almost like your vibration itself is a barrier to certain things. So there are certain things that you don't have to worry about, right? Like it's the example that came to my mind. Like if you're not going to smoke crack, then you don't have to worry about people offering it to you, right? You don't got to be like, well, what if someone offers me crack? Like, what am I going to do? I'll refuse it because that's not within my vibrational, that's not on my path right now. So it doesn't matter necessarily what comes my way. And that's kind of sort of what this insect barrier is kind of sort of giving me, especially with Yami and invigoration. Again, it's like when we bring our shadow into the light, when we bring our shadow inside, we don't have to worry about everything that lies outside of the house that could tempt our shadow because our shadow is no longer out there to be tempted. It's like just a whole bunch of stuff that we don't even have to worry about. I actually love this a lot. Thank you, Spirit, for not having me on here looking like a complete fool, pulling some Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Let's see if I can read Insect Barrier. I mean, it probably just makes you immune to attacks from insect type monsters, but we'll read anyway. It says your opponent's insect type monsters cannot attack as long as this card remains face up on the field. Exactly. It's like as long as you're in your vibration. In insects, it's kind of the energy of the mouse or mice in Lenormand, as like these things that come in and like little by little they just nibble away at everything. But if you have a lot of insects at the same time, like a swarm of locusts, then they'll just come in and destroy everything. But it's like the strength in numbers type energy. And so here's protection against us sort of being overwhelmed by the little things. And like invigoration coming out of Yami, like I love this. I love this. With the dancing fairy behind it. And the fairy in the Spencer's tarot cards is the Four of Wands. I'm actually gonna go to the restroom. I know I have a weak bladder, especially when it comes to, if you're not of age, don't drink. I click all my videos, not for children. Drink responsibly if you are of age. And I don't recommend alcohol as a solution to actual problems. I recommend facing them. But if you just want to drink sometimes, then drink sometimes. So we're gonna have a short intermission, and I'll be back. Yeah, I did that, so you could tell when I'm coming back. So obviously I'm back. Welcome back to Tipsy Tarot. My name is Patrick. I'm going to be your host. It's like 2:41 p.m. where I'm at. If you want to judge me, feel free. I remember on campus, I went to the bar at 10 o'clock because I was like in between classes. And again, like I drink whenever I want to drink. And so the shot of the day was like, I want to say berries and twigs. It might have actually been like berries and twigs. Um, but it was like strawberry and some other stuff. It was really good. And the bartender, um, she was like, "How does it taste?" Like, I'm so curious. It sounds good, but like, it's also 10 o'clock in the morning, so I'm not gonna drink right now. And I was like, "Wow, way to try to read me." You're welcome. And I tip. So I'm just playing. I do tip though. Um, that's one of the things that my Libran friend makes fun of me for, because I do kind of sort of tip fairly generously. And there was one day I got some pizza and it was like 2 hours late. And I tipped a little bit extra because the dude said he was supposed to be off hours ago and it was a little icy outside, you know. And like, so then my friend was making fun of me. He was like, "You tipped extra for pizza that was 2 hours late, that was cold, and it wasn't even that good." I was like, "Leave me alone. Let me live my life." I am gonna get a refill though. I also drank a lot of water yesterday because I ran out of ginger ale, so probably isn't gonna help. But we're gonna try. Oops, we're gonna try to do this off camera. So don't close your